feeling is here.
Yeah, son, you feel it, man. Word up, son. You gotta just do it, yo.
Yeah, man.
Yo, word up, man. It's a different channel, son. Word up, on, man. Word up, watch the channel, son. Different plane now, man.
It's all good.
Word up, all good, baby, in every hood, son. Word up, yeah.
CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas is grown men. Bold face, gat in your face. Stay in place, yo, crime late. Cats more beef than Scarface. CNN.
This call is now being recorded.
Yo. Welcome back to the Channel 10 podcast. We're in the building. Got a lot of new content up. Check out channel10podcast.com. Got some articles up there now in addition to these lovely audio recordings that we present you with. Also, if you want to give us some support, click on some of the Amazon advertisements there before you buy anything from Amazon and order something, and we get a small commission at no cost to you. So now that business is taken care of, shout out to all the listeners and everything, and we'll just get into it. And off air, me and Singard, we were just talking about what are some of the most hip-hop moments that you've ever had in your life. And we have some pretty interesting stories, so I guess we'll get it started with you. What was, well, I guess tell the listeners about the story that you were just telling me.
All right. Well, before it was called, what was it called now? Club,
Oh, Paparazzi.
Yeah, Club Paparazzi. I'm at the Sonar. In Baltimore. It was where like a lot of the underground artists came to. And some years ago, I think around the time of Fishkill, Ghostface came on a little tour, and he had Trife Da God from his Theodore unit clique and Killah Priest with him. And it was kind of a bad show for Ghostface because the sound system at Sonar was always fucked up, and they have the same sound system to this day.
Yeah. And
anyway, and the crowd, Ghost wasn't really feeling the crowd, and so after maybe 35, 40 minutes for real, of performing, he gets off. He tells people that he's leaving, so the crowd gets mad, and he just goes off the stage or whatever, goes to the back, and then people kind of start clearing out after that, and then a whole bunch of a fucking mob of women just jump on the stage and go right into the back, and they never come back out. And then so next thing I noticed that Trife Da God is still kind of standing on stage or whatever like that. And he was kind of by himself. It seemed like no one really didn't pay much attention to him. So I go up to him, and Trife Da God, what's up, man? What's going on? So we rapping a little bit. I'm asking him about his album, having a little bit back and forth about what he wants to do with his album. He was telling me how he was working on it, and he seemed really appreciative that I mentioned the project that him and Ghostface came out with that I guess no one really paid much attention to, but was actually really good. Yeah. And then while that was going on, because I knew that Killah Priest was around, but of course Killah Priest was getting some attention though, and he was really, really drunk. And the thing about it was he was really hobbling back and forth across stage and shit when Ghostface was performing, and my brother was trying to get him, he kept asking him what today's mathematics was. And Killah Priest just kind of looked at him and he was crazy. He was like, huh? And so anyway, for some reason my brother gets Killah Priest, and then so he brings him over kind of sort of, so we're just kind of all talking. And I'm like, yo, Killah Priest, what's up, man? And he just goes, ah. So yeah, that's my conversation with Killah Priest. Heavy mental for real.
Oh man, that sounds like a Master P ad-lib.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's some real hip hop type stuff, man. Just having a conversation with Trife Da God and Killah Priest at the end of a concert. Man.
Yeah.
And like I was saying before, one of my most hip hop moments was I used to be out in Philly a lot, and so one day I'm in Philly and I'm leaving where I was at around University City, Drexel area, and all of that. So I hop on the train. And, I had on my backpack and my headphones looking like a real backpack rapper on the train and all that. So, this random dude, he comes up to me and he's like, yo, you rap? You look like you rap. And I was like, well, yeah, I rap. And then he just started spitting bars to me. He just started rapping to me. Until I got to my stop at the China bus, and I was just like, yo, that shit was dope, but this is my stop. And he was just like, good look, whatever, and we dapped it up and went our separate ways.
And how long did it take for you to get to your stop?
Man, it must have been a good 20 minutes.
Oh, that's a kind of ways.
Yeah, he was rapping for a minute, but them Philly dudes, they got bars.
Yeah, that's what Cassidy said.
Yeah, that's one of the most hip hop cities ever. I think another one of my hip hop moments I was saying was one time I was in Brooklyn. I was at this spot called Sputnik, and just having a drink, and I think it was like a Terminology album release or something like that, and matter of fact, Lil Fame from M.O.P. was there, I remember. Terminology was there, and I want to say maybe Static Selector was there, but I'm not sure.
Well, this is super hip-hop.
Yeah, super hip-hop. And so afterwards, everybody cleared out. DJ Premier wasn't there from, what I can remember. We did not see DJ Premier there, but, we did have some beers until, real late. And then, we finally decided to call it quits. So, we leave. And standing on the corner is none other than DJ Premier. And he's just standing there talking to some dudes, probably about some hip-hop type stuff. And I'm just sitting there thinking, man, this is like something out of a 90s hip-hop story or something like that. Like, you just walk out of the building and DJ Premier is there in the corner. So, he was in the midst of his conversation, but, I just walked up and I said, what's up and all of that. Dapped him up and kept it moving. Hip-hop.
Have you ever ran into Cat Madonna on the streets of Baltimore?
What's crazy? I have not ever ran into him on the streets of Baltimore. I've ran into people that know him. I've seen him in places in D.C. actually, but never in Baltimore.
See, that's the thing, because I've ran into many people, man. I'm pretty sure between us they're probably the same people. And they've all seen him, whether, they get in their hat 3 in the morning or they seen him at dawn or something like that. And I'm kind of surprised that we've never seen him just walking down the street.
Yeah, and, apparently he was here for a very long time and, doing this thing. And I've been to like, matter of fact, once I went to a studio in PG County and they said Cat Madonna was there all the time. And, places in D.C. and stuff. I've seen him when he's like, on a flyer and stuff like that, but never just at a random, never just a random occurrence.
But, I'm pretty sure that we've seen Jay Electronica. We probably just didn't know, but I'm pretty sure we probably ran into him like around the Penn North area.
Oh, matter of fact, I told you my Jay Electronica story, right?
Was this at Rock the Bells?
Yeah. So I'm at Rock the Bells. For the listeners, I was backstage at Rock the Bells, and I'm trying to think. I was like in the back near the near the dressing rooms and stuff, and I think we were trying to get up with Nas. And so I'm standing there. I forgot who all I was standing next to, but I was standing next to like 2 famous people. And this random dude with a crown on and a scepter. And he was like kind of goofy and clowny. And I'm trying, and like I was just sitting there like, yo, who is this annoying dude right here? And so, you know, we were just standing in the hall for some reason. Why, I don't remember. And Mos Def walks by, and so, you know, he just got off stage or whatever. He was all sweaty and stuff, like he just played full court basketball for an hour. And so, you know, I dapped up Mos Def, and he just kept it moving. And he went into some dressing room that was full of women and closed the door. And so, yeah, I'm standing next to this guy, and then eventually, you know, we left or whatever, and I was just, and like the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, who is this clown-ass dude with the scepter and everything like that? And maybe like a couple days, or maybe even longer than that later, I realized I was standing next to Electronica the whole time.
Mm. So I'm assuming he doesn't look like his pictures, kind of, sort of.
Well, I think it was before his pictures were really out there like that. So
around what year was this?
This might have been like 2008.
Okay, because I got a hold of him like around 2000, like late 2007, kind of before I graduated.
Yeah. It was around that time. So, yeah, it was like 2008. And I was like, damn, that was Electronica the whole time. I was standing next to him. He was cracking jokes and stuff, and I was thinking, who's this clown-ass dude? And, you know, it was the God, Electronica.
Mm. That's what's up, right? You remember the South the Solomon Child incident?
Weren't there multiple Solomon Child incidents?
Well, there were, but I think the infamous one at the RZA concert and at the 930 Club.
Yeah, I do vaguely remember that.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was really ridiculous, but yeah, and you know, I always think for some reason, like I feel like something that has to be like the most ultimate like hip hop turntablistic thing you could ever do. It has to involve copyright.
Mm.
I don't know why, but I just feel like he's like one of like the epitomes of like hip hop, and I just picture him with like an SP 1200 in his book bag with his the Kobe metal headphones with like a cassette, and then he has like an MPC in his left hand and like Technics 1200s in his right hand. That's all he ever does.
Looking like Q-Tip. You're talking about copyright, right?
Yeah, copyright. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think he lives in Maryland now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he does. He kind of looked like Bayukai at one point, right?
Yeah. He was living in Silver Spring. And it's funny because like my friend, he used to like kind of talk to him a little bit about various things, but you know, my friend, he wasn't really too much into that type of hip hop, but they just happened to be from like the same city. But so he wasn't too much interested in talking to copyright. But yeah, I think he's living out there with you know, his wife and kids and all that other type of stuff. And I don't know, maybe he has a regular job now, or maybe he's, you know, still doing this thing with the music. But
we're still doing this thing with the music.
Yeah, I mean, but you know how like some people, they, you know, had a music and then have regular job as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like Jakarta Motormouth does that.
Yeah.
I think Copyright came out with an album like early this year or like late last year or whatever like that, and there was a video and it had him and Jakarta Motormouth on it, and I think this was my first time ever seeing like a clear picture of Jakarta Motormouth and him actually moving. Because I've never really seen him before. Only from his God vs. Satan album cover.
That's taking it back.
Yeah, man. I remember like I made a pillage to Best Buy on security to get that damn album. And mind you, I was coming from Goodwill where I got tape deck so I could sample some classical, some Mozart cassettes that I had.
That's real hip hop right there.
Yeah. Have you? So how many? Like, what pillages have you made? What's the ultimate pillage you've made to I don't know, like a Sam Goody from back in the day for like that one album that you just had to have?
This was I can tell you my most disappointing moment at a Sam Goody ever. I was like in middle school, and this was around the time when Eminem came out, and I wanted that album so bad. I think it was the first one, and so I went to I was at Towson Mall with my mother, and the Sam Goody was in the basement or whatever. Well, the bottom floor.
Yeah.
So we go down to the Sam Goody, and I just knew I was going to get this album. I was so happy, and so I have it in my hand, and then the guy who is the salesperson tells my mother, I don't know if you would want him to have that, because, the lyrics are very questionable and offensive and blah, blah, blah. And I think the guy was gay. And, maybe he took offense to some of Eminem's lyrics or something. And this is probably why he was so adamant, because eventually my mother agreed to get me the edited version. And he convinced her not to even let me get that.
God damn.
So that whole era, until the internet came and I was able to get it by other means, I missed out on the whole Slim Shady LP during the time when it came out, and that's always been one of my hip-hop disappointments and one of my biggest Sam Goody disappointments, I guess, as well.
Yeah, I vaguely remember you telling me about that because I remember that because Eminem really didn't start. You didn't start mentioning him until you were able to find different ways to get the Marshall Mathers LP.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the Marshall Mathers LP, I bought that from Barnes and Noble in Towson, and this is back when Barnes and Noble had their little music section, and everything was so overpriced, and that album might have been like $20-something, and which was a lot of money for me at the time, but it was like, I just have to get this album right now, so I just bought it. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of had a similar thing with the Bobby Digital album. When I went to FYE in my dorm, and my mother, she took me there to get it, and for some reason they had, this is we're talking 2001, so anything that was new they had, slew a whole bunch of them. And I mean, it's funny to think that if I had a store, there would be fucking 50, 60 RZA CDs just waiting right there, waiting for you to get. And I got it, and I realized that there were no unedited versions. And so I was kind of stalling, going damn it through the whole slew of RZA CDs to see if I can find one. And then the guy was like, yeah, if you're looking for an unedited version, you're not going to get them because for some reason they only ship the edited versions to us. And then so, at this time, there was it was FYE and some other CD store in my dorm. And so I was trying to get her to go to the other one, but she wouldn't. And she just said, you need to get that edited version because of course, she knew about Wu-Tang and she didn't want to hear any of that 36 Chambers type stuff you told me. So I had to go with that. And it's weird because to this day, I really wish I had the edited version because it sounds kind of weird hearing it unedited.
That's funny. I always wonder why you had the edited version.
Yeah, man, it's but actually, I went back and listened to it 3 weeks ago, and Throw Your Flag Up and certain songs like that. I really can't listen to them because they don't sound right. With the cursing in it.
That reminds me. you know, I think a little while ago I was thinking about what are some of the best edited versions in hip-hop, and I think Mobb Deep has some of the best ones. Like, I think Quiet Storm and Keep It Thorough, a lot of times I enjoy listening to the edited versions of those more than the unedited. And another song like that is Boom by Royce 5'9". Because the way DJ Premier scratches in the edits, and it just fits so perfectly with the song. It's like an art to it.
Yeah, and I think didn't Warren Epstein, didn't they mentioned, I think, the Quiet Storm edit.
Oh yeah, I think they did.
And then they talked about Biggie and how he would like literally like he would edit his own stuff, and he did it like in kind of like a creative way.
Yeah, because back in the day, like, I think maybe it wasn't until, like, the mid-2000s when, until people started, like, actually re-recording verses that were edited or, you know, changing up a word in the lyrics or something like that. And that always tripped me out because, you know, if you're going to go and do all that, why not just say the edited one just straight off the bat, especially if, you know, it's like if whatever vulgarity you had in it isn't that central to getting your point across.
Man, we're talking about hip-hop, man, but vulgarity is the center of everything. Hey, you gotta say it.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, like, the worst edit, though, was Cream. That's just a horrible edit. Like, and Inspector Deck's verse.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't even think of like the line, but you know what I'm talking about when he kind of like punches in or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, it is so like off kilter, and it's not exactly on beat. At least not to me.
You gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. But recently, I guess because, you know, maybe because I'm older or maybe because it's not that much of an issue, you know, you really don't hear too much about song edits and edited versions, but I guess one of the big controversies when it comes to that type of thing recently was Kanye West at the Billboard Music Awards. Apparently he did his song All Day, and they edited out like whole verses from it. And, you know, I thought that was pretty interesting. Like, I mean, he does say the word nigga after almost every line. But do you really have to edit out his whole verse for the, you know, the TV performance?
I mean, well, I think you were telling me that it's alleged that he didn't supposedly he didn't do a sound check. Yeah. So they really didn't know. Yeah, and we know what Kanye is capable of doing at award shows. So I mean, if I was I don't know the you know those censorship type people, I'll probably do the same thing. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's kind of like but see, that's the thing. Like with award shows, like I'm assuming they don't have those like 7-second things. What do you call them? Oh yeah, the tape delay. Yeah. The delays, like, you know, for like, you know, we've talked, you know, for of course some years about Morning Joe and how they have these delays because, you know, they say some crazy shit sometimes and they gotta edit it. Yeah. And you would think of for all places that will have it for an award show, especially when you have these high profile rappers who will say crazy shit and they are crazy anyway.
But you know what I think? It might be a cultural thing, like maybe they do have a delay, but because the person who's doing the editing and just the general people who are running it might not feel comfortable with the black ghetto vernacular, so they figured that they could be saying something completely vulgar, but they wouldn't even know what they were talking about and get hit with some type of suit later, so they just play it safe and edit the whole thing out.
Well, yeah, that's a good point because I know like sometimes me and you we've talked about like certain songs that we hear on the radio and they'll edit like certain parts out and it's not really bad, but they just don't really know what they're trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like, I guess they just want to play it safe because, I mean, especially nowadays, and you know, I guess with the way that it seems like new terms and new slang and everything, you know, is being created at an increasingly rapid pace because just in the past few years, I mean, we have the word thought, which is now, you know, it could almost be a dictionary term now, meaning, you know, that hole over there. But, you know, 3-4 years ago, that wasn't even a word.
Mm-hmm.
Or like how Boosie brought ratchet into the consciousness of, you know, mainstream society, and now everybody uses it. So, but like, you know, in the beginning, you know, ratchet also means like a gun or a tool, or like an actual tool. So it's like if you're somebody who's doing the editing and you're not up on hip hop and somebody's talking about a ratchet, you don't know they're talking about a gun, you don't know what they're talking about a ratchet to fix your car, or you don't know what they're talking about a turn up situation, and then you might not know what a turn up situation is.
You know, the first time, because I heard the terms thought and ratchet kind of around the same time, but I know a ratchet. I remember the first time I heard it, it was at some type of get together at someone's place when I was still in college, and you know, I'm like, because I didn't understand it, and I was sitting there like thinking about it, and someone said like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't understand what I said. I don't understand what you just said. And I said, and she was like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you just said that someone was acting ratchet, and then of course, you know, I thought about a gun. I'm like, Are you trying to say someone acted like a gun? Like, what the fuck are you talking about right now? You know, I was having drunk too, so I did not understand. And so they had to it was like 3 people. They had to explain to me the term ratchet. And it took me a while to really understand it because it's so awkward to me, like, to hear it that way. Because I've heard it, you know, in different terms for I don't know how many years.
Yeah,
so that was interesting.
I think the first time I heard it was, I think it was a Hurricane Chris song.
Of course.
Yeah. It was either him or Boosie. I don't know. Like these Baton Rouge guys, you know, sometimes their voices sound the same. But I think it was Hurricane Chris who had the song "Let's Get Ratchet, Let's Get Ratchet." Was that Hurricane Chris?
Yeah, it sounds like it. I don't think Boosie could make a song that fast.
but ratchet came from that, I guess that part of the world, and I think Hurricane Chris had like the song called "Let's Get Ratchet," and I think Boosie had just been saying it a whole lot, and it caught on through him. So now ratchet is just everywhere.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't like that term, and I don't like the term thought. I mean, like, that just sounds totally silly to me.
I mean, I used to, I've gotten so accustomed to it that, it doesn't bother me anymore. But at first I found ratchet kind of off-putting, I guess because it already meant something. Like, hip-hop already took this word and used it for something, and now you want to take it and use it for something else. But maybe I'm just being a real old man.
I mean, well, maybe, but then but if you're like really immersed in like a certain type of culture, then, you know, of course, I think you're going to, you know, not want to see certain things change, or you're just going to be kind of awkward. I mean, it's going to be awkward anyway.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I guess they were saying it in the South, and because, you know, the music kind of reflects the area that it's coming from. So, you know, coming from a more northeast standpoint, you know, you might hear it in one way, but you don't even know what necessarily is going on in these other places, and they might be flipping stuff their own type of way. So,
I mean, well, like, is there like a term that you've actually like started using that's come up within like the past, let's say, I don't know, like 5 years?
I I guess I use that, but I mean, I really haven't had a reason to use it, but I can't necessarily see myself not using it.
But see, like, it's really, like, because the thing is, when I think of thought, I always think of, like, what it stands for, and so if someone says, like, that's a thought, then I just think, like, that makes no sense based on the acronym.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Like, because it means that hole over there.
Yeah.
I guess it's just like, yeah, I see what you mean. I don't know. I guess it, it started off one way, and then people started using it more widely and stuff like that. And then now, they're using it for men and stuff too, like a male thought.
I mean, yeah, but like, what happened to the days when you just called someone a hoe?
Oh, man.
The simple days.
Hey, man, everything has to change and evolve and keep moving. And then, I guess, it all starts from the youth. And, I guess these youth out here had to think of a way to say things that adults wouldn't necessarily know, so that they could, say what they want to say and still be vulgar, but, still have it under the radar for a minute.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, the thing is, though, like, at least when we were coming up, like, the term, and I guess because we didn't really have internet, but the terms that we used, they were nothing more than, they were really just like recycled terms that, that were, that have been around for so long that they just got recycled again. But now we're totally seeing like damn near brand new terms, or terms that have been like in a specific area that were kind of brought into the mainstream.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really mad at it. I mean, at first, I guess one of the first experiences I had with that was, my freshman year of college. My roommate was from Atlanta. And something happened one day where the cops, like, came up in the alley and, like, were messing with him. The D.C. cops, they were messing with him and some people. And so he was, telling me about how 12 was coming and all that type of stuff. And I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. And I was like, 12? What's 12? And he's like, oh, that's what we call the police in Atlanta. Call him 12. I was like, why did he call him 12? And I think he gave me an explanation, but I forgot what it was. But now, everywhere, all you hear is fuck 12 and all this other type of stuff.
Shit, boy, I just learned something new.
What's that?
I just learned something like what you just told me. I had no idea.
Oh, you never heard anybody say fuck 12?
No, I just keep, maybe I have, I probably just never paid attention to it, but I thought people still called him 5-0. Damn.
You're older than me.
I know, and for some reason, since it's 5-0, I'm thinking about 50 Cent. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, that was one of the ways that they played off his name and called him a snitch after that Thug Quran or Ghetto Quran song he had. But yeah, matter of fact, now that we're talking about it, another new term which I guess was popularized or, brought to the general consciousness, by, I guess, Young Thug and the Migos and people like that is bando.
The fuck is that?
It's a trap house.
So what's the root term? Or did they just call it that?
I don't know. I just know they talk about trapping up the bando. And at first I thought maybe it was like, I was thinking it was like maybe some type of Spanish thing, like maybe that's what they call it in the barrio, but I really don't know. But now trapping up the bando.
Maybe
like, why not just trap out of a trap house? Because it's called a trap house.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they probably had to use another term to. See, that's the thing about hip hop. They be fucking shit up for people who are actually still in the corners.
Yeah, because they got to keep on making new terms because they keep getting popularized. Like you remember when J.R. Ryder came out with Squale?
Yeah. Oh, I remember that shit.
That means the cops is coming. Like now you can't use that anymore.
Oh yeah, man. Especially when it was popularized on Old Boy.
Mhm.
Oh no, wait. Did they take that out? They had like a different editor for Old Boy, right? And I think the radio edit didn't they take out Squale?
I think some of them might have, because sometimes I remember I used to see songs. It would say like dirty, and then it would say like clean edit, and then it would say like super clean radio edit. So maybe like on the super clean radio edit, they might have taken it out.
Okay, because because with Old Boy, I mean, I really only listened to like the mixtape versions of it, but then after a while, it was so shitty that you had to like start trying to find cleaner versions, which meant that you had to get the clean version.
Yeah.
But bands though. I mean, like I'm thinking maybe like bands. So you get your bands from the trap house, so you call it a banto. I don't know.
Maybe, but have you heard Fetty Wap's song Trap Queen?
I mean, I've heard certain snippets of it, but I mean, my mother talks about a song that I know something must be going on with it, man. Isn't it like taking some type of like cultural thing or something like that?
I mean,
relevant.
People have said that it's like the song of the summer. And like, we were doing Trap Queen on karaoke last night, and the hook is dope. I like the hook a lot. The beat is cool. The verses, they are what they are. But it's funny sometimes when you see a song and you see the lyrics, and actually I think the whole thing is a double entendre for money. Well. That's what my girl brought to my attention. So then, looking through the lyrics and everything, it's like, okay, that's kind of clever. Like, when you really break down the hook, it really sounds kind of simple and, niggerish, but there actually is some type of double entendre to it. And everything that he says relates to money in a certain type of way, but you wouldn't necessarily get that off a casual listen. But that's who 50 Cent was talking about, I think, when he was making fun of New York artists. Well, he's actually from Jersey, but, making fun of, I guess, tri-state artists, talking about trapping up the bando.
Okay.
Because that's not, it's not really what they say. But, I don't know. It's one of them joints where I like when other artists fill in the verses with their verses and just let the hook rock.
Yeah, I mean, 50 can't really talk because, because Tony Yayo seems as if he's like a big fan of the whole trap lifestyle, the genre of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tony Yayo is ahead of his time in a lot of ways. And it's like, sometimes you look at things that he does and then it kind of gets popularized or you start to hear about it, after he already did it, because he was talking about trap stuff, and like a long time ago, he was on Danny Brown first.
He was kind of on Lil B too, pretty much.
Right,
before he really blew up, and he had on the Hawaiian Snow joint, they had two trap joints. They had Trappin' and Trap Ball. They both had Lil B on it.
Yeah, I remember that Trap Ball. That was my joint actually. Yeah,
I'm tripping, bitch. Even tripping. That was pretty much out there though. I mean, because that was with the Houston people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that's another thing too. Like Houston had like, if I had to pick like a specific genre that had like a really concentrated like time frame or whatever you want to call it, it has to be like Houston. And, like, they had, like, that weird, what was it? Mike Jones from Houston, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Jones, Paul Wall, and then, like, all those other people that I can't think of their names, but...
Houston was definitely killing it for a while. I remember seeing Who Is Mike Jones stickers all around Mondawmin and just thinking, who is Mike Jones?
And see, that's the thing. I think if anything, you gotta look back at that era because of what Mike, like the promotional tools that Mike Jones had at his disposal.
Yeah, I mean, it was insane. I mean, even putting his phone number out there, like I used to know his phone number by heart.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it's crazy because like you know in the dorm, there's this dude from Texas. Well, he's from Houston, Houston, Texas, and we used to call him Texas. I don't even know what his real name was. And I ain't gonna lie, he was a clown ass nigga, but he this was like around the time when Houston was really popping, and so he was one time he was letting me hear like all of the underground stuff from before they started really popping off, like all these underground Paul Wall and Chameleonaire mixtapes from like the 90s, and some old Mike Jones stuff, and all that type of stuff. And them dudes, they actually could rap, and it's like they kind of dumped down a little bit once they started getting famous and all that. But those dudes are some real spitters.
I mean, like speaking of Chameleonaire, he makes a weird appearance on a lot of Dark Man's EP.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean it's not exactly a bad song either. So I was kind of surprised. I mean he has a lot of Dark Man has Chameleonaire and Trick, and I think some other person whose name I can't think of right now, but I mean, yeah, Chameleonaire, he can spit. I mean, I think that, see, I don't know how old this song was, but because I think it was like one of a lot of Dark Man's, like Gangsta Grill's mixtape songs or whatever like that. Now, I don't know how old it is, but, of course, Chameleonaire talks about riding dirty on it. And I feel like whenever he has some type of verse from him, he talks about riding somewhere, riding dirty eventually.
I remember listening to that album, though, and that album was dope. But the one that he had after it was kind of whack, and he even said it, and it had something to do with how once the Riding Dirty popped off so big, the label just wanted songs like that. But that song was a huge national hit. Like, they played that on the pop stations. I think it broke some type of ringtone record at one point. And I appreciated it because it's crazy how relevant that song is now today. But, when you really listen to it, it's a real song,
I mean, yeah, but no one really cared about, I don't think anyone cared about that message in those days. And I think that's the thing about it.
Yeah, I guess that was, especially around those days, I was getting pulled over left and right, so I really felt that song.
Oh yes, I understand, but I guess between that and I think people tried to capitalize off of Riding Dirty in so many ways. Between this Chameleonaire being, who he was, and then coming out with that bullshit album, and then you have Crazy Bone, who became relevant out of nowhere to the point that they throw him on the Biggie Duets thing album, and then the single has Crazy Bone on it. He's pretty much doing the same cadence that he did on Riding Dirty.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the Crazy Bone thing did kind of make sense for the Biggie joint, though, because they did have a song together.
I mean, yeah, but of all people on Earth, why would you decide to be Crazy Bone? If it was Riding Dirty, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't get Crazy Bone.
Maybe, yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, he was hot at the time, and they did put like a whole bunch of, I guess, poppin' type of artists on there. But I don't know. I guess that was one of the songs that, I think people generally had less of a complaint with from that album, because, I mean, Ja Rule was on that album, I think. Nelly was on that album. There's a whole bunch of people that, when you think of Biggie, these names don't come to mind.
Right.
But, you know, at least Crazy Bone had a song with Biggie.
Well, that's true. And but speaking of Riding Dirty, I forgot that UGK had an album called Riding Dirty.
Yeah. So, I mean, that song, I guess, you know, that song was kind of a tribute to that album. I'm trying to think, was it Crazy Bone? It was one of the Bone Thugs who was in maybe it was Lazy Bone. One of the Bone Thugs was in the news recently for saving somebody's life.
Oh, yeah, I think that was Lazy Bone.
Oh, okay.
I think. Let me see.
Yeah, it was something crazy. I read like part of the headline. Yeah, okay, it was Lazy Bone. He helped some driver who was in diabetic shock. Apparently, he went up to him and said, "You know who I am? I'm from Bone Thugs." And the guy was just like snapped out of it.
What?
Okay, no, that's not what happened. He said he ran over there and started feeding them apples and oranges and begging him to eat it.
What the fuck did he get? What the fuck did apples and oranges?
I don't know.
Oh man.
It says rapper Stephen Lazy Bone House of the Grammy Award-winning group Bone Thugs and Harmony was driving to his concert in Riverton on Saturday when he saw a car swerving across the roadway towards him. The car spun to a stop in front of the rapper's vehicle. Lazy Bone told KCWY-TV that he rushed to the man and offered him the fruit to help his blood sugar. What fruit? Offered him the fruit to help his blood sugar while they waited on paramedics. I ran over there and started feeding him the apples and oranges, begging him to eat it. He was scared for the man and was glad he could help. And his new album, by the way, is called Perfect Timing.
Oh, of course it is. you know, like, that's the thing. I think like the second person out of Bone Thugs that I do like it is Lazy Bone, and I think it's probably because he's more of a he's kind of like a character too, kind of like how Busy Bone is, and that he kind of changes himself too, and so do you remember when he like made like this kind of random re-emergence or whatever like that in like the early 2000s? And he was on Rap City, and he changed his name to L Burner.
Yep, L Burner.
Yeah, and I vaguely remember, but like that's just like Rap City, man. It was a classic because it had actual rappers that came on there, and it was like really, I mean, it was really authentic because like he was really adamant from what I can remember about him not being called Lazy Bone anymore. And he was going to be called L Burner, and I'm pretty sure that they probably had some type of falling out or whatever, like they always do every 2 years or so. And it was called Thug by Nature. And I don't think I've ever listened to it though. But I think it got decent reviews though. So of course he came out with it around the same time as Busy Bone came out with The Gift.
Yeah, that was around that time when, you know, music was hard for me to get, and it was one of those albums I would always see the advertisement for, but, you know, it was out of my ability to even hear anything from it. And
you know what's interesting is, well, I mean, I guess it's not really interesting, but he came out with another album, Lazy Bone, through Mo Thugs and Sickness Records. So I'm assuming Sickness Records has to be the same as Sickness.net.
I would imagine so.
But so, you know, we need to try to find these Sickness people. Like, who are they? Because the thing is, they really blessed us with like all these weird B-side albums from our favorite artists.
Yo, I mean, like, you know, they came out with all that Freeway and Beanie Siegel stuff, and I even think they came out with a Freeway and Beanie Siegel album. Like, that shit was dope. Like, I think they even might have come out with like a Young Chris joint too.
Yeah, I think they did. I think that was like an EP though. Yeah, man. Like, and then don't forget they came out with the M.O.P one too.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was called The Safest Cracks.
Yeah. I think they mostly put out stuff from the Bay Area, though, because I'm on their website right now, and they have, I'm at the Six Shop, and they have clothing, apparel, DVDs, compact discs, and digital albums. And a lot of this is a whole bunch of people I've never heard of. They got an album with Spider Loke and somebody named J Love called Crip, C-R-I-P. I think they mostly put out like gangster music. I think that's their whole thing.
Well, I think, they have, I'm on their Twitter account, Source for Gangster Rap.
Oh, there you go.
Has some guy named Young Brazy. Show You How. Emoji, I wonder what. C Money, Jurassic World. Whatever that is.
I see they got a Tiny Dude. You ever heard of him?
Tiny Dude?
Tiny Dude, D-O-O.
No.
He's the guy who he got charged for murder based off of his lyrics, and eventually the case was dropped and everything like that. But it was a big thing, and I remember Young Turks. They've been following the story, talking about free speech and all of that other type of stuff. But when you really look at the case, you can tell that he really had nothing to do with the trial, and they were comparing him to you remember what's his name, Rod Diggs?
Vaguely.
Yeah, he was with the murder team. And that was Waka Flocka, Uncle Murder, and Rod Diggs. And Rod Diggs, he was recently convicted and sentenced to like a whole bunch of life sentences and stuff for various murders and things like that. And I think they might have used his lyrics against him as well. And they're trying to get that appealed and all that. But he was sentenced to 12 terms of life in prison plus 105 years.
God damn.
Prosecutors at the trial used Heron's gangster rap videos in which she boasts about belonging to the infamous Blood Street gang, firing weapons and dealing drugs, to argue the lyrics documented his crimes. It's like, I don't know, it's like, you got the whole free speech thing and all that, but I mean, this guy, he was part of the murder team.
I don't know, I guess you gotta be a bit smarter, man. I don't know. But, I think it would be rather interesting to try to get these people on, if we possibly can.
Yeah, sickness.net.
Because you never really, who really knows, like, who runs it unless there is some type of actual, interview with the people behind it. It would be funny, like, if there's only one person, like how it is with Smack, and his name is Sickness, or her name is Sickness.
Yeah, matter of fact, we should send out an email and see if we can get an interview popping or something like that, because that would be really interesting.
Yeah. And then but even how do they get this material? Because whenever you find these weird albums like this, there's always some type of backlash. So when it was announced that DMX had that new album coming out, and then he quickly came out and said that wasn't him.
That's a good point, because I think with DMX, a lot of times what happens is they sign these deals and then they have some type of unreleased material that they don't own, and then whoever owns it can kind of do whatever they want with it. Because you remember before Game's first album, some somebody in Cali like owned the rights to all this unreleased game stuff, and so they put out a game album around the time of like just before Game's official debut came out, and they made a whole bunch of money. And I think they might have come out with like another album afterwards, and then they might have come out with an album around the same time as his second album.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that, but I'm pretty sure it was probably like around it's the same thing that happened with 50 Cent when he came out, when whoever came out with Guess Who's Back.
I think he did that on purpose, though. I think he probably teamed up with somebody to do that.
Well, it must have worked because I remember my mother, she came to the door with that. She said, I got 50 Cent's album. And I'm like, that's not his album. I looked right at the track and I said, half these songs I already have.
Yeah.
But I mean,
from Power on the Dollar on there, too, which one of my favorite 50 Cent songs ever is that joint he had with Bun B.
I mean, did they ever like re-release Power of the Dollar? I mean, you would think Columbia would just do it.
They never released it in the first place, and I'm sure 50 Cent has some type of clout now to where he could probably get that shut down.
I mean, well, yeah, now, but if you were like, if you knew he was coming out with 50, with Get What You Got Trying, you would think they would hurry up and try to re-release all the shit that they do have that they own.
Yeah.
Unless, well, I mean, that was like a big deal though. I mean, like $1 million deal, and then you guys own record labels. So I'm pretty sure they probably talked to Jimmy Iovine or Eminem and Dr. Dre and said some shit about, hey, I don't want that coming out, and they probably made some type of deal. So maybe he owns it.
Yeah, maybe like buying him, because usually, well, actually no, because he got dropped. Because I know, a lot of times when artists get out that contract, it's because somebody bought them out, and maybe like the masters or rights to certain music might be part of that deal. But yeah, 50, he got dropped from the label. Maybe there's some type of stipulation to where if you get dropped, then they can't do something. They can't use the material however they want to, any type of way.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I mean, because if you look at Q-Tip, and Q-Tip, he was on Violator and Columbia, whatever label the black guy was on, not Kevin Lyles, the other guy, L.A. Reid, when he did Come All the Abstract, and how pretty much it was just shelved, and I don't think they could really do anything with it, but eventually someone bought the masters back for Q-Tip for his birthday or something like that, I read somewhere. Not sure if that's true though, and that's how he was able to come out with it.
I
think he did it the wrong way though.
You said what?
I mean, I really think he did it the wrong way. Like, why would you instantly come out with Come All the Abstract right after you come out with with an actual album?
I mean, he seems like somebody who doesn't really work on music that much. Like, that album was, it seemed like he put a lot into that album over a long period of time. So it's like...
Well, yeah. Well, it was old. I mean, a lot of shit was old.
Yeah.
Actually. Johnny's Dead, that shit is so old because, there's another unreleased album I can't think of the name of it. But it was after... Yeah, I used to have it, but I don't have it anymore. And but there's even a whole bunch of other shit that's on there that's never come out.
I'm trying to think. Do I have it? Because I feel like I got it from you. But I don't know. He's one of those enigmas in hip hop to where who knows when he's gonna come out again with a proper album if he ever does. But
I mean, yeah,
sure he'll have his credits on Kanye West's new album.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but he comes out with good shit though. I give it to him.
Yeah. I think another situation is with Saigon with The Greatest Story Never Told.
Mm.
And I know Sway was his manager, and somehow he was able to work out some deal to get off the label and keep his masters. But I think he's on some type of payment plan to them. I'm like, damn, they got this nigga on some school loan type shit. Just to, you know, try to be free with your music that you created. But I guess that's all part of the game.
I mean, well, I guess he can, I mean, maybe at that time he was able to, he was good off with the entourage money, maybe.
Yeah.
But then I don't know, man. Like, I mean, when he was at FYE at what, Columbia Mall or whatever it was, that was so random to me.
I mean, you gotta get it how you live.
I guess they base it around. I'm sure they base it around album sales and where his album was really selling, and where that place was, wherever it was. I'm pretty sure a whole bunch of hipstery white people probably bought it.
That's true. Okay, I see the album. What's it called? Abstract Innovations?
Maybe, I think so. Maybe.
Yeah, I have it. It has a whole bunch of Q-Tip stuff. That's Sexy featuring Andre 3000. Fever.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to send this to. Oh yeah, Q-Tip. You know, it's weird because I guess he's like an integral part of good music, and I'm just wondering when he's going to drop something. But, you know, there's rumors. There's all kind of rumors that's going on right now. There's rumors that Kanye West is about to drop an album any day now. And it's rumored that he's actually distancing himself from Tidal and that he signed up with Apple, and his album is going to be released with the relaunch of Beats Music, which is going to be called Apple Music. So, I don't know what's up with that. I know he's been real cool with Dame Dash recently and all of that, so is he distancing himself from Jay-Z and all that? I don't know, but that's one of the rumors. I don't know, this Memorial Day weekend, it's all these rumors that are going around. Like, it was rumored that a new Jay-Z and Nicki Minaj track was supposed to debut on Tidal today, which is Memorial Day, but I don't see that happened yet.
Who cares?
Hey man, the internet is going crazy with these right now. Jay-Z and Beyonce are supposedly going to drop their joint album any day now through Tidal.
Oh God.
Same thing with Rihanna. And the interesting thing about Rihanna is the rumors are that, you know, even though she's debuted these 3 singles, which, you know, some of them are kind of poppy and stuff like that, this new album is supposed to be not necessarily a dancehall album, but very dancehall oriented with like a lot of reggae artists and stuff like that.
So pretty much she's going back to her original self after all these years.
Yeah, I guess now she can do it.
I mean, well, let's not say that, because look what happened to Nicki Minaj in her last album. Has it even gone platinum yet? And the thing about that, like, those songs that she came out with, like all those street songs. Oh yeah. That she had, they were actually, well, I didn't listen to all of them, but some of them I kind of listened to. But like the Chirac joint. That shit was hard. With Lil Herb. Yeah, like Lil Herb killed it. I gotta give it to him. That was like one of like the best verses I've heard from, like, I guess one of like the new rappers out here in a minute, because you know, I listen to like the Chance the Rapper, you know, those type of Chicago people. I can't really get with it, but Lil Herb, he killed it.
I mean, it was just violent and it was on beat and clear. like he clearly said all of the violent things that he was going to do to you. In a lyrical fashion.
Oh, okay. All right. So when you say clear, you mean lyrically. You don't mean like quality wise.
I mean it in every sense of the word. Like just diction, the way he said his words, the way it was separated, the way he sounded on it, lyrically, just everything. Like him compared to like a Chief Keef or something like that. When it's just a whole bunch of just like mush mouth noise, and you don't know what the fuck they talking about.
Well, see, and I think that's why maybe I never got on to Waka Flocka, because if you listen to, I guess, like the real Waka Flocka, you know, the Waka Flocka Myers joints, they all sound like shit. And when I hear it, I mean, all right, put it like this. I mean, I listen to some crazy, weird, you know, rock bands that do like lo-fi type shit. But his stuff sounds like that, but it's not supposed to. And so I just hear an angry black man just yelling about something. And I have no idea what it is.
Well, the one thing about Waka Flocka's album, at least Flockavelli, is that shit was a lot clearer than the mixtapes. Like, there's a huge difference between a Waka Flocka mixtape and then that album. Like, you know, the joint was banging and it was on point, and it's a personal classic for me.
I mean, I do say that, but then, you know, going to Gucci Mane, all of his bird prints have sounded like shit. And then even, like, I think he had one when he was rapping from jail, but the beat was just so hard that I just couldn't deny it.
Yeah.
I couldn't deny the lyrics, but the beat was hard.
I mean, it's the same conversation that we had about Max B and all that.
Oh yeah, that's true, man. But I must say that the Trying to Go Home joint, I was really happy when it got cleaned up a little bit and they put Lloyd Banks on it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm real sad about that Max B album because I really enjoyed it, even though it was like a lot of it was kind of old songs, but they were kind of updated and, you know, mixed down a little bit better and stuff like that. And, you know, that Max B album, I can't even think of what it's called right now, but that was really something that you could ride to.
That was the one that came out on the Amalgam, right? Yeah,
I think, Amalgam Digital. Vigilante Season, that's what it was called.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I know I had it. Maybe I listened to it once, but I don't know. I think, if I recall, he was too clean on it, I think. And I don't mean quality-wise. I mean, you know how he does. He has a slur. You know, he may just start talking out of nowhere, and then he just start singing, like kind of like how he did on like the freestyle over the phone.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that's he kind of reminds me of ODB, but like with way more, but like with a Harlem swag, I guess you could say. He does whatever he wants, but the shit it just sounds kind of good. I mean, like I was kind of disappointed in that the jail freestyle because I thought, and I think Prodigy kind of messed it up for me. Like whenever I think of a jail freestyle now, I think it's going to be this big thing where it's like a really good beat, and somehow, some way they like really properly mix the person's vocals down through the phone like they did with Prodigy.
Yeah.
And it's just him. I mean, it was okay. I mean, if it was over a beat and like the way he was, harmonizing, it would sound ill, but I wasn't really pressed to hear that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was like, man, I should probably like chop this up and maybe see if I can fit it to a beat or something like that. Somebody has to do it. But I think that Prodigy song should probably go down in history because there really hasn't been a lot of songs like that. They made an actual song out of this man's jail vocals. Yeah, he had ad-libs on it and everything.
Yeah. Now, I mean, maybe he has a whole bunch of clout that he can hold the phone up like that, or maybe they just did it in bits and pieces.
I don't know, but, you know, that's one of them joints that I don't think anybody remembers, and I forgot about it until you just brought it up.
Man, I always think about that song because, like, I remember when I listened, because, you know, I thought it was going to be like a Magic B type of thing. And they say, you know, Prodigy drops a freestyle, some shit like that on Exclusive Zone. And I'm like, all right, I'm listening to this shit real quick. And it's this fucking banging beat from Sid Rome's, and he's rapping. He has an intro. Who the fuck has an intro to a song that they do from jail? Who has time for that?
Prodigy, it does, I guess. But I guess going back to like Gucci Mane and it's funny, I was listening to some rapper recently, I forgot who it was, But they said Gucci Mane hit him up from jail talking about, can he get on a feature? And I'm just like, it does seem that Gucci Mane is recording from jail some type of way, but they're trying to keep it under wraps some type of way. But it's like, how are these people doing this? Or even like Vybz Kartel. I don't know if you've been keeping up, but Vybz Kartel has been releasing a slew of records from jail. And I was listening to a Mavado interview, and they asked him about Vybz, and he was talking about, how they're cool now and everything. And, they're on a new collaboration together. And they asked him, how is he recording from jail or something like that. And I think Mavado said something about, I don't know. I mean, he got his producers. You got to ask him about that, but he can't really talk about it. So.
I mean, well, see, but that was kind of stupid. I mean, well, why would he even say something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think he said it more cryptically than what I said it, but, you can kind of get the gist of what he was trying to say. But, I guess maybe it's a little bit different in Jamaica and, him being as big as he is over there, because, they had to shut down the streets when they, I think they had to shut down a lot of the streets and everything before they read the verdict, because they knew that if it went the wrong way, then it's probably going to be some type of riot or something like that, and it was.
Oh yeah, I remember you were telling me that.
Yeah.
But going back to Rihanna though, what you told me, it reminds me of what you were telling me. I think you said Major Lazer said, or Diplo, or whoever it was, and they were talking about how music overall is going more, I guess. It's getting more of a world vibe, or like more of a dancehall vibe overall.
Yeah. So
the next step is going to be from EDM to, I guess, dancehall type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting the EDM and dancehall type of collaborations. Not even just dancehall, but I guess just African diaspora type music in general, because like when you look at soca music and the EDM and soca, like when you look at Bunji Garlin, you remember the song that he had, all the big songs that he had, was it probably like last year, was it 2 years ago now, when he had Ready for the Road and Truck on the Road and all that other type of stuff, and how it was soca, but it was kind of like dark with these big booming beats and very EDM-ish. And then you look at Major Lazer and what they're doing. I think they just dropped some type of new project. And like there's this Chronix record on there, but then it has this EDM breakdown in the middle and everything. And, it's just real interesting. And then you look at I guess, Azonto music out of Nigeria. And that's having kind of like an EDM-ish type of vibe too, with people like Wizkid and Ice Prince and DeBunge and all of them.
Yeah, but I need to get on to Wizkid, because I still have his album, but and I'll be honest, one of the main reasons why I haven't listened to it is because it's not MP3. And sometimes that will fuck me up in the game. Like I will not listen to it because I don't feel like dealing with Windows Media Player.
Mm-hmm. And
then and usually I sit down and I convert them, but I don't feel like doing that right now. But like all these songs, are they like getting any type of relevance, I guess, in the Western world, for lack of a better term?
Some of them are like, Bunji Garlin, he was real big. He was on, all on Hot 97 and everything with his run. And then Ice Prince, I think it's Ice Prince from Nigeria. He was on the Breakfast Club recently, and he was talking about how he's real cool with Meek Mill when they did a bunch of songs. And Wale, he's been working with like a lot of Nigerian artists and stuff like that, and I guess bringing them over here. So I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. It's hard in America for a lot of African and Caribbean artists to kind of break, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 10 years or so you start seeing a lot more of that, especially, if, because, all it takes is one, like, Sean Paul is probably the most successful dancehall artist in America. And,
but that's the thing. I mean, but like even with Sean Paul, it's kind of weird though. Because what you're saying, I kind of base it off of the success of, I guess, like, you know, if they have success over in the UK and United States and stuff like that, for it to, I guess, to really, like, I guess for lack of a better term, to catch on, although we do know that in the majority of the world, most likely these songs are popping off.
Yeah.
But like, because, all right, it's interesting how EDM has become like a kind of like a big thing now, because remember at one point, for example, when Bob Marley came around, they had to like tone his stuff down over reggae period, like in the UK, because it was too bassy. Because the majority of the world, the Western world, they didn't like a whole bunch of bass, and now bass is becoming like a big thing. And so maybe through EDM we will see like this emergence of all like a different, I guess, world artists, because a lot of the rest of the world, they like bass. It seems. But Sean Paul though, you look at him, the same thing, like the same as Bob Marley. He was light skinned, so of course he could. It was easier for him to cross over than I guess like a Wizkid Superstar and Ice Prince, because I believe he's dark skinned too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, you need like a nice little light skinned boy like a Bob Marley.
That's interesting too, because like, oh damn, man, because like now that you think about it, a lot of time when a dancehall artist does pop off over here, they only had like they might be real big in the islands and overseas in other countries, but they might only have one hit here, or like one hit that's in rotation here that's not like on like a mix show or something like that. So like you look at somebody like Wayne Wonder, he only had that one song. He's dark skinned. Even Mavado, he's making it work through the rap channels with, We the Best and all that, but, really the song that people really know him for is I'm So Special, which was on the same rhythm as the Serrani joint. I think that had something to do with it, but even Serrani, he got a lot of big joints, but that was the only song that popped off. And I think maybe the only dark-skinned dude who really was popping more than one track that I can think of is Elephant Man. He had to dress up in all different type of colors and shit.
But he had to dance around a lot. He had to dance around like a jigaboo. He just couldn't pull that shit off. Just like I guess like standing in the corner like Mavado or whatever like that. But like for example, look, Gully Bop is the man right now.
Yeah.
This nigga is popping off. Bring his ass over here. People will laugh at him. They'll probably really think that he needs to be in the trash can somewhere.
Yeah. And it's like, and it's crazy because like I'm trying to think of anybody from, because like the only dudes who really make any type of noise, for more than one record are the people who were around in the 90s. Like a Beanie Man might drop a record or something like that. But even him, he had a record with Janet Jackson, right?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah,
but shit. Look at Michael Jackson. Shit.
All right. So, with Vybz Kartel, do you think that if he didn't have his legal problems after his transformation, I guess you would call it, do you think that he was poised to pop off with a big hit stateside?
Oh man, that's a really good question.
Because he's really grimy and underground and stuff like that. Like his records aren't, I don't know, like, Mavado kind of brought in like this new wave of dancehall in 2005, and it really was brought to my attention in one of his interviews, because he said, everybody after him, they sounded like Mavado, and he really brought that sing-songy type of thing, but still kept it grimy, and that's kind of why he was my favorite back then when he came up with What Damn I Do, What Damn I Try, and then all them type of records that he had popping off right there, and then he kind of ushered in this new sound. But it's really Vybz Kartel who was like the champion, because I guess he's like the underground champ or whatever. And you know, a lot of people, I don't know, like, you know, a lot of people kind of fell off of him once he bleached his skin, but then a lot of people didn't. And then now that he's oppressed by the man, everybody's on his side now regardless. So, I don't know.
I mean, I'm looking at him and I don't know, man. Alright, this is the thing, like, if I saw him walking down the street, because apparently it looks like he didn't, like, put anything on his lips. I'm trying to figure this out because I see, like, I have, like, a picture up right now. It's like him before he, you know, put, like, before and after picture. And I don't know if he just forgot to put some lipsticks on or what, but I mean, he looks like a ghost for real. It looks like he should be like on the Styles P mixtape. I don't know.
I mean, he looks fucking crazy. Like, he really looks scary.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't. It's not natural. So
yeah,
I don't think so, because then the whole thing about him bleaching himself, it would have gotten over into liberal America, and then would have been this big thing. And then even if he did go through, you know, he went through all of this to try to become more popular. But then the liberal media isn't going to take him seriously because they're going to say something about, you should be yourself because we would have accepted you the way you were in the first place. But then, of course, in the real world, of course they wouldn't. They wouldn't give a shit about him.
But the thing is, I think that would come out and it would make him a bigger star. And I think that black people in America might start bleaching too. I mean, I think that he could. I think he could have made that a trend here.
I don't think so, because I mean, you know, we are talking about dancehall and reggae. You know, we're talking about African Americans. They want to hear that EM, that trap music. They want to hear that, you know, that good old 4/4 boom 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 in the club. Mm-hmm. They don't really be hearing, you know, like what my stepfather always say, you know, that Jamaicy music. They won't be hearing that shit every 5 minutes.
That's true. So, I guess, I don't know, you know, I guess maybe one day, if an American rapper decides to do that, then I definitely think it could become a trend. But yeah, I don't know. You know, sometimes I forget that, you know, my tastes are a little bit more varied than the average American consumer. And so, like, even if somebody hears a Mavado song or a Vybz Kartel song, they'll just probably follow the song and not know who did it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you gotta think about it. I mean, you look at, like, I guess, like, the biggest, outside of Elephant Man, because he was just, like, kind of like he always reminded me of that guy from the Apollo, the Sandman, kind of. But then outside of that, we had Bob Marley, who we know who crossed over, Shaggy, and Sean Paul. These are, like, the three main ones. Yeah.
And Sean Paul, I mean, he had an amazing run. I mean, he had Give Me the Light. He had the joint Get Busy on the Diwali rhythm. He had that one joint with Sasha, which I remember seeing on the box for MTV2 all the time.
All the time, yeah. And we know why.
And then he had the record with Beyonce, which was huge. And then there was that controversy of Jay-Z not wanting him to perform that with her at that award show or something like that, because they were a little bit too close.
I mean, it makes sense. Well, you know, come to think, speaking of Beyonce, I mean, you know what? I think I could probably see like this, like bleaching kind of becoming maybe not like a big trend, but maybe like a kind of like a counterculture in a way. Mm-hmm. Because I remember when I was in Hollywood, and you see this. I mean, it's this gargantuan, you know, billboard of Beyonce, and her skin is really noticeable. They really lighten her skin. I I mean, like, even look at Beyonce. I mean, you know, she's not really even labeled as a black woman. Like, I remember, like the L'Oreal commercial. You know, she's talking about all, like, her whole entire heritage. She's Indian, she's French, you know, all this other type of shit. She can't be black though.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I mean, shit just pissed me off. Like, it's like a L'Oreal commercial, and I don't know why, but she's like, it's just her standing there, and she's like, yeah, I mean, she starts twirling around or something like that, and all these different weird close-ups and slow downs with like the camera angles, and you see like the word French popping up out of nowhere from her mouth and shit or whatever like that, or something coming from like a word coming from her back. But it's kind of weird, yeah.
Well, one thing that I do give Rihanna her props for, I remember some magazine that came out. It's always interesting, you know, what they do with the photo editing and stuff like that. Because there's one magazine cover that she's on, and it might be like some magazine over in France somewhere, and they had her looking like really dark skinned, and there's a whole lot of headlines that come out like she's always listed as like the first black model for, I think, Dior and something else like that, and so they really put the black in there. And it's funny because I was watching some interview with her where she was talking about how when she was younger, you know, she was so light-skinned, you know, when she was in school over in Barbados, she would get teased because they would say she was white, and they called her white girl. So it's just real interesting. I don't know, this whole colorism thing is just, it's like, damn, when, if ever, are we going to get past that as a people?
I mean, shit. Bob Marley, he was tormented because he was light skinned and people make fun of him too. So that's what happens. I mean, I guess they see it. I mean, even like that documentary, like the big one that's on Netflix. I think it's two of them. Well, apparently, I'm not sure if it was Chris Black who came out, or Chris Black, whatever his name is, the big producer. But it's so funny, his name it has Black in it. But I think it was like the other woman who was involved with the Island Records, and she said that Peter Tosh had he had the same type of credentials and, you know, talent that Bob Marley had, but they just couldn't push him because he was too dark. And she came straight out and said that. And I mean, he is a pretty dark dude. But I mean, it's just kind of like chilling to hear someone like just come out and say that shit.
Yeah, and I guess from that era, it's crazy because, you know, the two biggest, you know, reggae artists that people would know are Bob Marley and Peter Tosh, and a lot of people don't know who Peter Tosh is.
I mean, yeah, but you know, the funny thing is, he's the first person to win the Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album. Oh, damn. Yeah, because he passed away and he hadn't been nominated, so of course I guess they decided to give it to him. And I think Bob Marley eventually won for Legend when they came out with that album after he died or whatever. But yeah, that was kind of weird. I think Bunny Wailer, I think he eventually won one too.
But yeah, let's wrap this segment real quick. Maybe come back because we've been talking your ears off for a minute. Shout out to all of my dark skin and my light skin Nubian princesses and queens out there. all my mixed Nubian queens,
mulattoes, octoroons, quadroons.
Yeah, all of that. High yeller negresses. All of that. So yeah, channel10podcast.com. Log on. We'll be back at you.
Feeling this here. Yeah, son, you feel it, man. Word up, son. You gotta just do it, yo. Yo, word up, man. It's a different channel, son. Word up, on, man. Word up, watch the channel, son. different plane now, man.
It's all good.
Word up, all good, baby, in every hood, son. Word up,
CNN Network Channel 10. It's on again.